This is Reginald Kuakaru, founder of Kemetic Centered Living. In this video series, I'm going to break down the esoteric meaning of some of the familiar biblical symbolism that we know as historical. It's not meant to be a debate about the historicity of Jesus or the Bible. It's an entry point for those of you who are beginning to grasp that there is more to spirituality than what you are taught as a Christian, and recognizing that you are gods and goddesses in training. The original information that became part of the Bible was passed along in the oral traditions on the continent of ancient Africa for thousands of years and evolved into the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. The information in the books of the Bible was never intended to be written down. It was a break in ancient African oral traditions. What we have in the Bible is secret knowledge that was esoterically coded for the eyes and ears of initiates to hear and see in ancient mystery plays. The myths, metaphors, allegories, and many components of these stories represented ancient African knowledge of metaphysical formulas and universal laws in a rich symbolic language that began with the medu-neter or hieroglyphs as most of us know them today. With that said, the Bible becomes more valuable to us as metaphor and allegory than any historical narrative. That's part of what you'll see as we go along in this series. This is not in any way meant to be exhaustive. The symbols, allegories, myths, and metaphors in the Bible are a fringe aspect of the original Kemetic knowledge and information. Now, this is not meant to be an insult, but you can think of the Bible as more like Cliff Notes for elementary school. But more importantly, this knowledge is a basic entry point for you to learn skills and processes to help you tap into the universal laws so that you can master them with application and practice. This knowledge is only the tip of the iceberg to deeper knowledge that you can learn and use so that you can live life unapologetically, authentically, and on your terms. Let's get started.
All right, family. This is the end of a 6-part series exposing the hidden esoteric meaning in the Bible. If you're interested in gaining the skills and knowledge of these ancient teachings that will help you create the life you want on your terms, then you need to check out my upcoming course, The African Mind Rewire. It'll be opening soon for enrollment. Spots will be limited, but you can get an unfair advantage to getting your spot in the course by getting on the wait list. Those on the wait list will have access to enrollment one day before it's open to the public. To get on the list, you can click on the link below in the video description, or you can go to the web address of www.africanmindrewire.com/early-bird1. If you're watching this and the enrollment is closed, just sign up for the wait list and you'll be notified when the enrollment is open again. So, one of the questions I get asked often is, what's the difference between soul and spirit? It's a really good question with profound implications. First of all, know that you are a soul. You don't have a soul. That's the ancient Kemetic perspective. It doesn't need saving from hell the way Christianity taught. The Christian idea of salvation is a twisted and misunderstood idea that originated with ancient Kemet. I've already given you the perspective of the soul ancient Kemet had in the first video of this series. And that is, the soul is the real life. It's the real you. Your physical body is only a transitory existence in which you, the soul, gains wisdom to elevate consciously. The idea of death in the Bible is esoterically the death of the soul's omniscient and omnipresent awareness when it descends into a physical body. According to the ancient Egyptians, the soul can die a second death. The second death is related to living a life where the physical person never realizes he or she is a soul and doesn't connect to their higher self at some point in life. Ignorance becomes the cause of the second death. Salvation in ancient Kemet is those who gain the ability to incarnate again. So those of you that are listening to or watching this video are living life. That means you've already received salvation according to the ancient Kemetic teachings. In other words, because you as a soul are existing in a physical body, you've been saved. Period. I want to answer the question of what's the difference between spirit and soul by teaching you a little of the ancient African science behind what you are. Do you know that the power to create in your life comes from an aspect of the soul that is esoterically called the Father in the Bible? Most of us thought that when Jesus spoke of the Father, he was talking to God, his Father. That's not the case. Esoterically speaking, it goes a little deeper and more specific when you're talking about the stories in the Bible, the universal concepts, the spiritual science, and creating life on your terms. I'm going to teach you a little deeper so that this knowledge can be practically applied in your life, not just information you gather that has no impact in your life. You're a creator, and it's a specific aspect of the soul you use to create. Again, this knowledge is esoterically coded in the Bible. I'll start with the ancient teachings to give you the background knowledge, then come back to how it shows up in the Bible. So in the Kemetic system, there is a triad of what we call a soul today. And that triad is the Ka, the Ba, and the Ak. These aspects are all energetic or metaphysical. In this video, I'm going to specifically deal with the Ba and Ka aspects because they're specific to what most know about the soul. But know that the Ak is the light part of your being. So, the Ba is the aspect that is termed spirit in today's terminology. According to ancient Kemetic teachings, spirit is the essence of all things in the universe. So to help you understand this idea in today's language, you can say that the concept of spirit is the same concept of what we call energy in our scientific terms today. Everything is energy, right? So you already conceptually understand what spirit is. It's the same idea conceptually about energy, just different terminology. So it makes sense that energy is everything and therefore the essence of all things. The first law of thermodynamics says energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change forms. The ancients would say the same concept this way: spirit is eternal. The ancient Egyptians would say in the beginning is Ba, in the end is Ba. In other words, there is nothing that is not Ba. The modern way to say this is that everything is energy. Our science confirms this idea, again, just using different terminology. So the answer to the first part of the question, what is spirit, would be that it is the essence of all things in the universe, what we call energy today. The Ba, or energy, is our link to the Creator. It's a part of who we are, and we are infused with it, not separate from the Creator as Christianity teaches. Alongside this energy is universal intelligence. We call it consciousness today. In ancient Kemet, this intelligence was personified with the Neter Ma'at. The individualized soul is a little more complicated. Explaining this will help you understand the idea of what is meant by the Father in the Bible. As Christians, we were taught to think of God like a parent. We were taught to believe that when Jesus was talking about the Father, it was like talking to his dad. This is where the idea of a human-like God throws you off track when it comes to the ancient spiritual science. But in the esoteric language of the Kemetic science, Father is a more specific reference to what we might call the divine masculine principle. It's an active principle. This principle is the aspect of what the ancient Egyptians called the Ka. Remember, part of the feminine principle is analogous to the receptive womb. The divine masculine principle is the active seed giver that implants into the womb. As stated in other videos, the ancient Africans used nature to symbolize metaphysical concepts. Therefore, in order to understand how creation works, they use a sexual union between a man and a woman as an analogy. So in this analogy, in order for the father or divine masculine to implant the seed, what is the very first thing that has to occur within him? The father or masculine has to first get aroused. This arousal state is symbolized by the ancients as fire. In other words, the masculine principle has to get fired up first for anything sexual to occur. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. In today's terminology for the process of manifestation, this is what we call desire. So fire equals desire. Fire or desire is always the first cause of anything in creation. Fire is one of the 4 alchemical elements. It's the foundational aspect of anything that is or will be created. Without desire, nothing happens. Right, guys? Yeah, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. When the father or divine masculine gets aroused, what happens to the phallus? Naturally, it gets hard. As a matter of fact, it gets hard as a rock. If you check, etymologically in English, isn't a nickname for a male phallus a Peter? In the Bible, didn't Jesus say, tell Peter that he was the rock in which he would build his church? Did you ever know that the nickname Peter for the phallus came via ancient religious metaphors? This idea of the active masculine principle even works linguistically. Put a piece of tissue paper in front of your mouth and pronounce the letter P. Doesn't a puff of air protrude from your lips that move the piece of tissue paper? Also, interestingly enough, if you turn the letter P on its side, does it not look like a scrotum and phallus? Now, don't y'all hate on my writing. I was trying to do the best I could with the computer mouse. So that's my P, turned on its side. So you thought letters and the alphabet were just arbitrary symbols, huh? The P brings us back to the netter patah. Patah sounds like a proper way to say Peter, doesn't it? Ptah is actually a cognate of the ancient Egyptian word Ptah. The Greek word Petra means rock. These words and names are all connected for a logical reason. So the ancient netter patah on one level is the principle of the desire or fire in all creation. Again, this major aspect of the soul is called the Ka. Patah is the father of all Kas. Patah is symbolized as a one-legged entity with its hands free. The one leg is symbolic of being wrapped up like a mummy. The wrapping for Patah is physical matter. The hands free symbolizes that it has the ability to create. If you'll notice the way Patah was symbolized with one leg, you'll notice that Osiris looks the same way. Osiris's hands are free as well. That's because the ancients were symbolically expressing to all that grasped this knowledge that functionally Osiris, the soul within mankind, functions as the universal creator Patah and is the Ka of the earth plane. Osiris is wrapped like Patah. This is an important aspect to grasp about you as an individualized soul. You have that power within you to create your world just as the Creator created our physical universe. For the ancient Kemetians, it's a natural aspect of the universe. For the Osiris, the wrapping or mummification is the body in this case. This takes us back to the previous teaching in the series on the body as the womb or tomb. Don't get confused about the mummy, tomb, and womb. They're all analogies or metaphors depending on what level you are addressing. The difference between Patah and Osiris is that Patah is universal and Osiris is specific to the earth plane. Patah is the father of all Kas. Osiris is the father of all Kas on earth. So oftentimes, when Jesus is addressing the Father, esoterically he's speaking about his Ka or the Osiris aspect, which is the power of manifestation within each of us. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 7 and 8, Jesus implies that you need more than words to get a prayer answered. He says the Father knows what you need before you ask. So stay tuned next week for a video series, and I'll be giving away a powerful ancient process that was not explained in the Bible. The ancients are trying to express to you through this symbolic, esoteric language that you, the soul in flesh, through the divine masculine principle, have the ability to create. You just have to have the skills and processes to access the Father or Creator within you. The Virgin Mary or Isis would be the environment or womb that the desire or seed of the divine masculine is implanted in. The manifestation will be the child Horus or Jesus. Horus or Jesus is the fruit that would show you the face of the Father. In other words, the seed has the potential to be something, but you don't know what seed was implanted until the creation is birthed. Horus or Jesus is the revealer. In principle, the child and the Father are one and the same. This is confirmed in the Bible. In John 10 and 30, it says, I and the Father are one. Now you understand what that means esoterically. So this fire aspect is an aspect of the soul. The Ka is the container for spirit. A good analogy to help you grasp the relationship to spirit and soul is what a balloon does when you blow air into it. Air can't be localized or pinpointed until it's in a container. Energy or spirit cannot be localized until there is a Ka to contain it. There's way more connected to this idea symbolically, but this will give you a good start. I detail this more in my course. Your Ka is the container for the Ba or spirit that animates you and gives you life. Again, that's the relationship to spirit and soul. The soul is the individualized aspect of Ba or spirit. Within a soul is the ability to create. You have the ability to harness the creative power of the Ka within you. The Ka is the father or active masculine principle that is opposite the receptive feminine principle. The body is the womb or the feminine principle that the soul is enveloped in, that it is to grow and gain wisdom. The Ba is spirit, that is the stuff that everything in creation is animated by. As a human being, you are spirit, soul, and body. Notice on the thumbnails I included in this video series, I show you a symbol called the Merkaba. Mer or Mary is what we conceptually call the law of attraction today. On the metaphysical level, it's the environment that attracts the seed or Ka and its animating energy or spirit, the Ba. Merkaba on one level is the components of the soul. Another way this is shown symbolically is as the Star of David. It's just a 2D representation. This knowledge should help you understand the difference between spirit and soul. Let's take this new understanding of the power of the divine masculine to real life. I know many of you want to do more with your life and more to make a difference, but are just not sure what that is. You're filled with doubts about what your purpose is. But our communities need you to get a new mindset so we could collectively come together and build income streams so that we can begin building and investing in our communities. No one will save us but us. We need to have the means to invest into our young people. We should be able to employ our young people and mentor them. Some of you want to do real estate investing. Some of you want to start your own business and work for yourself. But what's stopping you is a negative mindset. This ancient Kemetic knowledge is designed to cure you of all fears and negativity that's holding you back. Just for a moment, visualize with me about what kinds of charities and nonprofits you could give to in your communities that are building others, as well as when you're creating from your gift and superpower. What would you do with your free time to give back when you create your life on your terms? What would you do to love yourself and your family? Travel, invest, build a legacy for your children? That's what tapping into the divine masculine will do for you. You begin to create a life from an empowered understanding of who you are. You already have that fire and desire within you because you have that dream, or you want to quit your job, or you want to just do something special. But again, what's stopping you? Like most people, it's that mindset that has you just strung out. I've been there, done that, got a t-shirt. When you truly grasp this knowledge, you'll know that it'll help you unlearn the old negative programming and limited thinking. At the same time, you learn, as a god or goddess in training, how to create on this plane of existence. This knowledge was intended to be life hacks, not idols of worship. It goes way beyond trying to be holy, righteous, and trying not to mess up. It's about how you can create and live boldly, authentically, unapologetically, and on your terms. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share with anyone that will be consciously elevated and vibrationally uplifted by this.